Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited. This is my first 2026 Newmar Dutch Star video of the year. Well, I shouldn't say that. We were at the Newmar dealer show, but this is the first one I have that I can sell to you. My number is 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659. You can always find me at RVs Inside Out or at TTT RV on YouTube. And the reason I call myself RVs Inside Out is because I like to start my videos from the inside out. So Jody, please go ahead and take her on back. Okay, you guys, so I'm covering for Dean today, and I have to tell you, I think he's like my bestie right now because Sable Maple's my favorite wood finish. This is the suede finish Sable Maple, two-tone cabinets, 4081 Dutch Star. This is the ultimate. It's not over, well, it's 40 feet 9 inches, but you can tell everybody it's 40 feet. So 40 is the magic number. It gets you into so many more places. And this is a bath and a half model. So as the owner, proud owner I might say, of a 2022 Dutch Star, I don't have a Dutch Star, I'm lying, I have a Superstar. It's a mid-bath model bunkhouse. Yesterday I did a 2025 4340 bunkhouse with 2 showers. That would be amazing too. But as the owner of a coach that has a mid-bath, I will tell you, with a 17-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old son, a extra half bath could be very well used. So this is a fantastic floor plan for someone who's hoping to keep it at 40 feet that also wants that bath and a half model. Now take a look at this shower. First and foremost, super roomy shower, right? Plenty of space in there. You could have a party if you're like that, you know, for sure. But if you just wanted a little extra space to relax, you could take your wand, you can move it up and down on this little guy. I actually sit with my wand on my bench quite frequently when we're camping. I'm going to be at a Newmar's Country Club event next week with the Cruisin' Airs, and we've got a ton of stuff on the radar. When we get back at the end of the day, sometimes it's just nice to have that hot water pouring over you. And on that note, I want to just bring up this AquaView shower saver system. The reason they say that is because you've got a 105-gallon freshwater tank here, and granted you've got a 50 or 75-gallon gray water tank, but you don't want to fill that thing up super fast. So this shower system, as you can see, I've got the little blue light on. If I turn this over to recycle, you can actually hear it turning on. What it's doing now is it's running through the behind the scenes of the coach, and if I was to turn the water on, it wouldn't come out of the faucets overhead because it's actually heating the water through our 50,000 BTU Oasis dual loop Chinook system. Now that sounds like a lot, but basically what that means is it's a tankless hot water heater that heats up the water and takes it out of your freshwater tank, which is 105 gallons, and then puts it back in when it's warm. When this turns red, it means that your water's hot and it's ready to go. So when you turn your water on, if you're boondocking, you're not filling up that gray water tank while you're just trying to heat the water. So it's a water saving system. That's how it works. Keep in mind, if you have this on recycle, when you're plugged into city water and you've got pressure in there, the water's leaving that 105-gallon tank. It's being replaced by the city water, and then the Aquamizer system is trying to put it back in. So what happens is it overflows. We get a lot of clients that might call in saying they think that they have a leak in their coach, and they're overfilling their tank and it's dripping out. So heads up on that. One of my favorite features is the fact that this coach has this little bar here. This allows you just to have your conditioner, shampoo, and body wash in one place. And then down below, they have a place to keep your razor and a bar of soap. So super handy stuff there. And then I got the rain head, shower head all the way up. And as you can see, because of this cathedral ceiling, now I know I'm not a great measure because I'm pretty vertically challenged, but I have a lot of room. I mean, I could be an extra foot taller. I mean, I could really just be an extra foot taller, but I'm not. But if I was, I could actually take a shower in here very comfortably. Super cool feature about that. Another great feature is going to be the towel racks on the back of this door, making it really easy for you to store all of your stuff. Because, you know, in my Superstar, I don't even have this little guy, the robe hook. I keep, you know, Ken Williamson, by the way, our Superstar rep, just retired. So Ken, if you're watching my videos while you've got nothing to do and you're sitting out there in Indiana on your boat, hi, and congratulations on your magnificent service to Newmar. But I've been sending him emails since the dawn of time asking him for a robe hook in that Superstar. Okay, I have the blinds deployed here. This is the day shade, this is the night shade, this is the fresh air, right? So if you're a little stinky in here, you can get that out. We also have a fantastic fan overhead. And then this is a really nice feature. With this little egress door, we can actually open this. You could take off the cover, deploy the ladder, and escape a dangerous situation. Or you could use this just to drop out your dirty laundry, your sheets, towels, and linens after you get done with your camping trip. So super cool there. And then as you can see, this is a nice metal ladder that you can reassemble after you deployed it, so you don't have to replace it if you use it in the case of an emergency. Now over here, it's kind of hard to see, but we have our TP dispenser. And when I built my house, I actually got these same Kohler dispensers because I like the upright standing ones. They're kind of nifty. And then check this out, a great place to keep all of your cotton swabs, your Q-tips, maybe some dental floss, whatever you'd like to keep in there. And then another great feature of this 4081 bathroom is the linen closet. Look at how deep that is. Now I want you to know, I just really yanked that open, and thank God Newmar does stuff like has like a little chain there, because look at how close this little corner is. So this beautiful lambrequin is of course solid maple. Again, this is a sable suede finish next to the Summit suede finish, but I could have really done some damage, but I don't, because Newmar thinks about people like me and knows that they need to help us just keep safe from ourselves. I've got a 110 outlet on this side, so there's 2 here. There's also 2 on that side. Why do I point this out? Because we all have electric toothbrushes these days, and if you don't, you should get one. Oral-B is what I would highly recommend. No, I'm gonna be my dentist talking. All right, so great medicine cabinet. Holy beeswax. This is so much space. You can keep your flat iron plugged in, keep your hair dryer plugged in. All here behind the scenes, there's a ton of room in here. They've got this beautiful glass undermount sink, this high polish, you know, I'd call it Korean countertop. These little micro subway tiles, which are so adorable. And this is the Stratton interior. This has got this nice gray mix to it. But one of my favorite things about the 4081 floor plan is if you're getting up and you're getting ready and you have this door closed, the bedroom has its own door, but if you had company over, you could literally stay in here, have your clothes hanging so you could get ready, right? So you could get all dressed. There's tons of extra storage down here if you wanted to keep some shoe boxes. There's a safe out there in the back. And then there's all of these drawers. So these full extension, soft close, solid maple drawers are so nice because you could keep your, you know, underwears, bras, socks, all the things you need to get ready, and then still have this top drawer, you know, for your toothbrush, toothpaste, dental floss. Got lots of dental floss on today's video. Great place to keep your cleaning supplies. And then another full bank of drawers. So, I mean, this is literally 8 drawers, a full long wardrobe cabinet, and then another great little, I call this the shoe cubby. I'm sure you could put other things in there, but man, oh man, talk about convenient. Now, in terms of, you know, convenience, not having to go to a laundromat or even just to the head of the park where you might be competing with other people to get time in that washer and dryer. The other thing is, you know, I don't know. So in my experience, I just went to Big Sur. I didn't bring my RV. We went camping. And I used the washer and dryer at the park, which was fine, but it tethered me to that location. I couldn't go out and do anything else because I want to be courteous. You run all your loads of laundry, and then you run all your dryer stuff, and then you can go do something. Where it is, when you have a washer and dryer in your coach, not only do you have a place to put your stinky bonfire clothes, which is also a great selling point on the washer and dryer, but you can do your laundry and just run your wash, go hiking, and come back and throw it in the dryer later. You're not going to be inconveniencing or discourteous to other people. So I really like that aspect of it. Again, it's not a must. None of the stuff that we have in this coach is a must. This is just a luxury that we get to have while we're out camping. But of course, we're bringing like a 5-star hotel everywhere we go, so why wouldn't you? I don't even think they have washer and dryers in rooms at 5-star hotels. They have a laundry service. Anyway, these floors are heated. This is a faux wood porcelain tile. It's an Italian porcelain tile. It's super durable. And even the engine cover that I'm standing on right now has electric in-floor heating. Now you'll notice that down below here, for instance, you have this little grate. That is for your hydronic heat. And the reason I mentioned the 50,000 BTU heat earlier is because when you look at something like an AquaHot 450D versus the Oasis system, the difference between the 8-gallon reservoir and the 5-gallon reservoir that you find on the Oasis gives us a lot better heat control inside the coach in super cold temperatures. So there's a lot of reasons to look at a Newmar. Jody, let's go ahead and trade places. I just want to show that you've got a full-length mirror on the back of this door. So right there, we've got our beautiful full-length mirror and our very attractive cameraman who helps us every day. And also, you've got another nice mirror here. Now, it's not full length, but it's long enough for me to know that I need to pull my shirt down a little bit, right? But no, so super cool. In this bedroom right now, I don't have all of the lights on. I left the ceiling lights off in particular. First and foremost, beautiful ducted air conditioning cover. All your filters are under there, hidden away. But I wanted to show this sable maple with all of the accent lights, with that summit cabinetry above it. This is so decadent and so luxurious. And one of the nice features is historically, we've had to have remotes for all of our blind control. And now what we actually have is blind control where we have it on a touchpad. So as you can see, these are the night shades. Totally great coverage, really dark, nice, sexy bedroom. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into the bedroom, and I'll go ahead and pull the all night shades up, just a touch of a button, so I don't have to have a remote anymore. I've got all of these little KIB panels throughout the coach that I can use to put the blinds up and down. And you'll notice we're in a different location than usual. We've got some construction going on here at the dealership. So this sunshade is actually keeping us nice and cool. And you'll see there's another emergency exit beyond that, egress. But what I like to use this for is just fresh air. But one of the nice things is that, let's say that you want the sunshade deployed, but you're in a park where you've got a really beautiful view out this window. You can actually change this so it's not quite as deployed. And in doing so, you can still have that sun protection, but you're also not obscuring your view, which is super fancy. Speaking of fancy, take a look at these wardrobes. I have all the lights on today. I had like a little pre-planning moment, I guess. But super great space, his and hers. So Jason gets this one, I get that one, and then I also get the back one, right? That's how that would work. And that's all we would really need, to be honest with you. It's not my fault that I have a lot of clothes. Maybe it is my fault. So here we go, HDMI cord, right? You also have your all of your telematics connected. Starlink is the way to go these days. If you haven't had it, this is a 43-inch flat screen TV, Hulu, Netflix. The reason I'm wearing my Nuggets shirt today and my jeans is because it was supposed to be hockey day, but the Nuggets are going to Series 7. They're tied. They won last night, so I had to wear my Nuggets shirt. So if I wanted to, upload FUBU and watch the game, I could watch it here in my Dutch Star, in my bedroom, on my 50-inch flat screen, on my 43-inch TV in the front, or outside on my other 43-inch TV. So all of that comes to you via satellite, of course. The drawer space in these drawers is fantastic. It's deep. If you've got jeans, denims, sweats, anything that you're trying to bring with you, you've got 5 really nice deep pocket doors here. And then you also have another great wardrobe. I had a comment the other day about how they didn't like the hanging wardrobe space, but this soft pillow top mattress is a 72 by 80 RV King, and it tucks in underneath those wardrobes, and it's what gives you all of this huge bed and the ability to close both slides. Now you'll see here, I have one chair and I have one extension. I actually put one chair out and one extension today so I could give you a little bit of a better view as to how big this is. But if you look over here on the right-hand side of this bedroom, you can see how incredible the amount of space is on the left and the right-hand side of this bed. And both of these nightstands have a little cutout here where you have access to a USB, Type A and Type C, as well as 2 110 outlets. But if you see this carpeted area underneath, I want you to notice this is no longer carpeted. This new flooring that we have used underneath the coach. They use them in Winnebagos. It's a super durable flooring. We are out of the carpet game here. We do not put carpet in our coaches any longer. So even if you were looking at a Ventana versus a Dutch Star just for a little bit of savings, you wouldn't have carpet in that coach. Typically, historically, I should say, we've had carpet on this slide in a Ventana. Now it would be that same material. But as you can see here in the Dutch Star, because this is a full hydraulic slide, this slide can lift up and come in, and it gives you the ability to have tile all the way down the entire port side of this coach. Now up above we have, of course, our beautiful sable maple Stratton combination here. Lovely wallpaper. You've got a KIB switch up here, so if you want to put your blinds up and down in the morning, you know, you don't have to go find that remote. I think it's a huge positive for this product. 2 110 outlets above the bed. Nice glass front. Also a little port here that comes down, so if you want to run some cables, you can. I've got the reading lights turned on, and then as you can see, I've turned the lights on in this bedroom, so we've got quite a bit more bright light in here. So if you're looking for a coach that's not dark, this is definitely the way to go. Newmar is so good at lighting in coaches, and what's nice is they give you the ability to choose your own lighting for your own mood. So if you're looking for something a little bit darker in the evening, a little bit brighter during the day, you've got the flexibility with this product. Now, of course, we've got these nice solid maple doors separating the front and the rear of the coach, but this is the really nice aspect of this coach. Look at how bright this bathroom is with this Summit cabinetry up top. It's really a difference maker in this coach to be able to bring in the sable and still have a coach that doesn't feel kind of all encompassing. Has been fantastic. So this morning, my friend Randy, I did his video on Monday, so if you didn't have a chance to watch that Newmar video, it's a great video. He's picking up his coach today. He's doing his orientation with Marlon Bloodman, our technologist right now. And his coach is one of those coaches that we special ordered in because the 2024 that we had in inventory didn't have this two-tone cabinetry. And as you can see, it just really makes it glow in here. It's super, super bright. Of course, our really attractive dark metal finishes that they introduced in 2023 help with that as well. This glass vessel sink gives you a little more storage underneath, as you can see down here. And it's also just got really, look at that faucet. What a sexy faucet. Good job, Newmar. I could keep all my makeup right here in this drawer, all my little standing bottles, all my face treatments, and then I could put in my my 10X. Yeah, I just turned 50, you guys. I need a 10X. Magnifying mirror with a halo light. I could plug it in right here, and I could do all of my makeup here in the morning and let everybody else have access to the shower in the rear. They could go ahead and get ready. I could have a little privacy. So really nice feature here. This is a great place to keep some extra TP, maybe your tank treatment. 55-gallon black tank in this coach, so you could be out boondocking for a good week pretty easily as long as you know how to conserve water, and of course we've already covered that. And then this pivoting door right here is designed so that when you get into a tight space and you don't want to put your slides out but you still want to be able to camp in your coach, or while you're going down the road if someone needs to use the loo, you have access to this mid-bathroom, and you'll still be able to access your pantry and all of these great push to release full slide out drawers. Now keep in mind, these are so cool. So we used to have a little lock up here, so you'd have to push the button that would release the lock, and then you could open this. And if you had a friend over who wasn't familiar with your coach, they just yank on it and break that lock. So these push to release cabinets are a genius move. Newmar's always innovating, but they also stick with stuff that works. So for instance, this 19.7 cubic foot Whirlpool refrigerator is in just about everything, which is awesome for you because it means if you need any kind of parts or any kind of service, maybe, you know, I've had clients that have broken these little doors, whatever it may be. If you have any issues, it's easy to get parts for this unit. Not to mention this self-deploys down, and it allows you to have a Prosecco shelf, vegetables, fruit, and then also a charcuterie drawer and a water filter, so that you don't have to have a Brita. You can have a water dispenser out here on the outside of your of your door. And then down here you have a really nice ice maker, a really nice deep pocket for all of your frozen goods. You can keep popsicles up top, all your meats down below, maybe some tater tots or some French fries. And yes, folks, I said French fries. How many people barbecue and want to have French fries? Well, if you want to have French fries, you can cook them right here on your air fryer, because you've got this nice stainless steel convection microwave and air fryer here. So they even have a little air fry tray. They even talk to you about how to use your air fryer, what rack position to have it in. So this is not only a convection oven where you could roast a turkey, because you could move this little guy down to the bottom shelf, or you could use this as an air fryer and actually have French fries with your hamburgers while you're camping. That is very bougie. So please don't, I have the window, the optional kitchen window covered right now with our day shades. You can still see out, but you really couldn't see in. This is a great feature of this coach, once again giving you that privacy, but the ability to kind of see what's going on. Of course, the starboard side is the party side of the bus, the port side is the business side of the bus. So if you want to keep an eye on the littles without having people staring inside of your coach, you can put those day shades down. And speaking of littles, if you want to let them help you with breakfast and you don't want them to catch the RV on fire with your propane cooktop, this is the way to go. This True Induction cooktop will actually heat your water in about a half to a third of the time, depending on the altitude, that a propane cooktop would. And you could put a paper towel down on this and then put, like I use all clad pans on top, and you could boil a quart of water and the paper towel wouldn't catch on fire. So this is a great way to cook. Not to mention, you can unplug this and take it outside. So we make our bacon and our French toast and our eggs outside on any morning that really permits. We love to have breakfast outside, but you can still have all of the prep space, because after this is removed, you still have access to your cutting boards and to all of your counter space, even with a cooktop not in place. So genius, again, idea. Underneath here, I've got two 110 outlets on this side, as well as two 110 outlets on this side. And of course, the reason that is important is because this is plenty of room to put in your knife block, your your wooden spoon holder, your toaster oven, your coffee maker. And then you've got a nice little island here for chips and dip and salsa, the charcuterie board. You've got these really great full extension drawers. Look at how deep that drawer is. That is like the ultimate junk drawer. You could fit so much stuff you're never gonna use in there. Amazing. This one's a little more shallow, just like me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really deep and like thoughtful. Huh, Jody? Yeah, he's nodding. Okay, so I'm gonna get this island out of the way. How easy was that? It does require power though. That's a power lock. So if you go to push it in and it won't close, it's because your RV is not on. Go turn on your house switch. I actually had someone call me. Jane, Stan, I'm not gonna call you out. They said, oh my God, our toilet won't flush and our lights don't turn on and I can't figure this out and our Essex is broken. And I was like, no way. Your Essex isn't broken. Hold on, who in the heck? I swear. Isabel, message. Can I call you later? Sorry about that. I turned my watch off. I guess I didn't turn my phone off. But anyway, I said, let's go through the process. Let's turn off the chassis in the house. Make sure your AC is off. And she goes, okay, where do I turn off the house? I said, it's at the door. She goes, well, that's not on. But I'm bumped. Yeah, you have to turn the coach on to make things work. All that being said, one of the cool things about this dealership is that we have a guy named Bill Habercorn. So if you are having an Esto moment, an equipment smarter than operator, we've got a guy you could literally call who will like calm you down, analyze the situation, and give you pointers on how to stay on the road. And that's after you get the full-fledged orientation, which is what Randy's having right now with Marlon Bledman. So this is a store that super takes care of you. I've got some clients that took delivery of a Revel yesterday. I drove by this morning. They had all their sunshades up. They're camping in our parking lot. Checked in on them last night. They're just making sure they know how to use everything before they take off. We can do that for you when you pick up your RV. It's a really great way to go. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I only have one extension in. So there's the second one. Here is, oh, it's a magnet, by the way, the table leg, giving you all the support. But what I wanted to show for a lot of people who are maybe doing a little bit of work for a few hours while they're on the road so that they can get out with the fam, one extension in here, your little, collapsible chair, So first of all, you could have a few extra people over for dinner with just the one extension. But if you wanted to put your laptop down here and a monitor up here so that you could do some work, you would have plenty of room to use this as a desktop. And you could even use these little guys down below to store your paperwork, your files. I use this one for dishes and bowls, and I use this one for paper napkins and placemats. But you could make this into a workstation, and there's power. There's 110 outlets on either side, and then this is a USB Type-C and Type-A. So this is a great place to be able to work. Up above here, you'll see that we have lots of room for all sorts of stuff. What a great place for all of your beer steins, your maybe dry bar, some whiskey glasses, coffee mugs, anything that you might need here in the kitchen can be stored there. Or again, you have all of this space over here in this part of the kitchen. So great place to keep, olive oil, maybe some balsamic vinegar. If you wanted to take this shelf out so that you could store your coffee maker in here, we use a French press now and a kettle, but you could fit your French press and your kettle in here, maybe a toaster oven. You've got a great place up here for all of your spices. Everyone needs to bring their Lawry's and their salt and pepper, Cajun spice if you're doing some blackened salmon. And then again, another adjustable shelf. So if you want to keep something fairly narrow on top and you want to put something underneath here that's a little bit larger, you have the flexibility in this cabinetry with those adjustable shelves. Again, this is just Newmar thinking ahead of time and trying to anticipate how they can help their clients have a better camping experience and bring more of the things that they like. Down below here, we've got a nice silverware drawer. And then for our sleep number, and it's not called a sleep number anymore, but it is an inflatable mattress. You've got his and hers controllers, or his and his, or however you do it. But you've got 2 controllers for either side. You've got controllers for your Girard awnings. You've got a Bose soundbar controller for the soundbar in this room. And then there's another controller for the soundbar outside. And then you've got 2 Samsung remotes because you have a 50-inch flat screen on a televator in this section. And then we also have the 43-inch flat screen in the front of the coach. So super handy there. And then, okay, Greg Moser, I hope your wife was picked up by the government again. I'm making this video with you in mind. I would love for your wife to have this Dutch Star and a dishwasher. So if I send this to you right after this video is done, don't be surprised. Greg's wife got laid off right in the middle of a Dutch Star purchase. She was part of those cuts, those cuts that they had for the government, and I felt terrible for them. But she was gonna take a coach that she was not exactly in love with because she really wanted a dishwasher, and I'm in love with this coach, so maybe it's all for the better. God works in mysterious ways, even when it comes to RVs. In 2023, speaking of a God moment, oh my gosh, gunmetal, farm style, deep basin, small vegetable side, large washing side, undermount stainless steel sink. How sexy are you? Holy mackerel. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous execution. When Newmar made all of the changes to the cabinetry for the Dutch Star, I have to tell you, they really did a great job. This is a lovely coach. It is, I would say, somewhat contemporary, but it's not trendy. This is a coach that is timeless. When you walk into this RV, I mean, I felt like I was stepping into a tuxedo. I am so happy that it's Friday and that it's jeans day, because if I had had my druthers and I was going to be able to pick out whatever I was going to wear, I mean, I had all these extravagant outfits chosen and I'd look a little silly. So instead, it was jeans day. It kind of saved me, but this coach feels like you're going to a very high-end gala event when you walk in. It's such a gorgeous execution of RV. So I love this. Now, I know we have all of this storage up top for all your glasses and such, but we also have a nice place that's a little deeper. So this is about, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches deeper, just even though it's actually at an angle here, and then it's much deeper here if you want to be able to keep some board games. I always tell people, don't bring Monopoly if you like your family, because it just causes arguments, especially after a few of those black and tans. But yeah, if you want to bring some Scrabble, some Parcheesi, whatever it may be, all of that room up here for your board games, for all of the things that you need. Or you can do what I do. I keep bins with a little label maker, and I go alphabetically with my supplies, flashlights, batteries, all that stuff. And then over here, we've got more storage. I just want to make sure I point this out. There's a little bit of a cut down here, and this is because of the fact that they've got all of our telematics running throughout this entire coach. And when I started doing this for a living, I kind of assumed, you know, all RVs are created equal. Well, they're not. Not everything is wired so that you can run one system throughout the entire coach. Newmar is able to do that because they use 16 inch on center residential style construction. So they actually use an aluminum C channel. The back of it's solid, but either side of that channel has got holes in it, so they can wire this entire coach without having to create, you know, little tributaries for the wires to go through. They can just go straight across. And then they use batt insulation instead of using like a vacuum bonded, you know, fiberglass on foam construction, which means all of these windows, which, oh, by the way, let me put these windows up and that TV up. So all of these windows are actually set into all day. There we go. They're set into the subframe of this coach, so they're actually welded into the aluminum subframe of this coach. These are dual pane, very, very nice. You can see you've got opening windows all the way across the entire starboard side, so you get that fresh air. But these are all set into the subframe of this coach. And one of the things that Newmar's really focused on is less noise going down the road. They want to have less creaks. They want less tile popping. They want better insulation against heat in the summer and against cold in the winter. And they're able to do that through these really high-end levels of construction that they provide to the clients. Now, this is going to be a trifold sofa. It's a full size. It's not a queen. And the reason that it's a full-size trifold sofa is because you'll notice over here, we have our theater seats. Now, new for 2026, they've got a wider theater seat. And they created these nice solid cabinet surfaces where you could actually keep something like a bowl of chips and dip without having to worry about it tilt over. I'm sure they were watching my videos because I would talk about that all the time. Like in a theater seat, not to have a hard surface in between you is really not great. You still have plenty of room to store your cat. No, I'm just kidding. That's for your cuddle blankets. And all of your remotes can go right on top of there. You could fit a lot of cuddle blankets in there, a lot of pillows. If you wanted to keep a sleeping bag in there for whoever was going to be staying in your trifold sofa. And yes, I did say sleeping bag because we don't want them staying too long, right? This is like, here, you guys have, this is good for the night. It's good for the night. You go home tomorrow after you know, slept it off, please. But anyway, so super, super cool space there. And as I mentioned, like this trifold is really actually very comfortable, so be careful. They might want to stay longer. Make sure my legs are deployed. The legs are adjustable too, by the way. You can make them a little bit longer or shorter. There's 2 seat belts here, 2 seat belts in the recliners and 1 in the forward facing dinette. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 people could go camping with you. Don't worry, I won't tell them because it's, what's the rule? It's six for drinks, 4 for dinner, 2 to sleep. But if one of those 4 for dinner needs to sleep, got a little extra room here. And as you can see, this is 2 big people. You could have 2 adults on here. This isn't a kiddie bed. Your mom could stay on this. You wouldn't have to feel bad and give up your bed. If you are that son who would do that, though, you would have a plenty of or a nice place to sleep. I had a guy who bought a King Air, and I remember he was taking it home and his mom had come with him to pick it up. And I said, how are you sleeping? He goes, oh, I'm fine. I said, do you love that bed or what? And he said, oh, I'm not using the bed. My mom's in the bed. And I thought, what a nice kid. Uh-oh. Am I missing it? Yep. There we go. What am I doing wrong, Jody? Why isn't it? There it goes. Okay, I can feel it there. I was being a little stubborn. Make sure you keep the handle out, because it does lock into place. This is the little handle. So just make sure you keep access to that. And don't get it stuck in the, little tooth that's in there holding it down. And then these Velcro in here, which is super nice. And I love this nice gray interior. It's not too dark. It's not too light. It's just right. So as you can see over here, We've got a KIB switch here, but built into these theater seats, you have a USB port at each side. And these things go really flat and they're nice and wide. So if you did have a small white dog who wanted to take a little snoozle with you, plenty of room here on the couch. And keep in mind, you have 2 spots to sit facing the television at the dinette, 2 here, and then you've got a full-fledged theater seat here. We're not going to turn this around today. If you want to see a really long video on a Dutch Star, I made one yesterday. So just take a look at our channel. I've got 3 videos out this week. I'm covering for a few people. I'd love an opportunity to bring these things to you, but I'm so stoked to be able to bring you the 2026 4081 Dutch Star, because this is the coach. One of the things that's interesting about this coach is that it has a tag axle. So it has a really great turning radius. That tag allows the back wheel to pivot. It comes off of a pin like this, and then the wheel can turn. So your turning radius is from the drive axle to the front turning wheels. And that is like really, really tight. So that's a great aspect of this coach. Now this is on the ISL. This is an 8.9 liter Cummins engine. This is a Freightliner chassis. It has brake sync. It has V-Ride. It has comfort drive assist. It has an independent front suspension, but we have changed our suspension in 2026. So Meditor is no longer doing our suspension system. And we are also now using Victron inverters instead of Magnum inverters. Now we've been using Victron on the Renegade product for a long time. The battery management system for that is really good with lithium. And this is a lithium coach. This does not have 960 amp hours of lithium. It has 640 amp hours of lithium. And there's an extra space for a lithium battery if you'd like to have it. But one of the cool things about this Dutch Star is not only is it a 40-foot coach with a tag, it has 3 air conditioners. And one of those air conditioners, the center air conditioners, has a dedicated inverter that allows you to run it while you're going down the road. So you have your front dash air to keep you cool in the front of the coach. But if you've got those kids or you've got pets that are always warm while you're driving in those, more muggy climates, maybe Florida, Georgia, Atlanta, all that area down there, you have a central air that can run without having the generator on. Those batteries are being charged by the chassis, by an alternator while you're going down the road. So you can keep your generator running, or not running, I should say, while you're driving and still have AC. Now you'd still have to run your generator if you wanted to do your laundry while you were driving, if you wanted to maybe run, I don't know, microwave a burrito. Depends on how much juice you're using. But like I said, one of the major benefits of this coach is that this coach, if you were staying, for instance, somewhere overnight that you couldn't use your generator, you could also run your central air and keep the coach nice and cool at night without being plugged into 50 amp or 30 amp. So that's a great feature. Let me grab my clipboard just to make sure I'm covering all the stuff I need to on this RV. Okay. So let's get up front and talk about some cool stuff. I told Jody I really like to have the engine cover open because I think it's kind of fun to see how it's pointing down at the top of it. But as you can imagine, if you were trying to line up your Jeep, you could really see exactly where you were supposed to be. And if you were here, for instance, you can see where we're parked. You can see the drainage ditch right there. You can see behind you, and then there's all these different views that you can choose. So that's straight down, this is kind of back, and then this is straight back. So you can see all these different views through this camera, but this overhead 360-degree camera system is fantastic. Another great feature of this coach is it's got Mobilize, so it's got a lane tracking package that will actually go do-do-do-do-do and then buzz you in the butt if you go over the lines. And you can turn it off or turn it on, but if you are going on a long haul drive and you're concerned about maybe getting a little drowsy, you've got something that will remind you that you're leaving the lane of traffic. Another great feature of this coach is it has blind spot assist. So you can see over here on the left, that little triangle is saying caution. I can't tell what you're doing, so you need to pay attention. But if you were driving down the freeway, that would actually turn red if there was someone in their blind spot, or disappear if there was nobody there. You'll also notice that your side view camera is integrated into the mirror instead of being attached to the side of the coach. So that's another great feature. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my steering wheel down. There's a little button over here you step on that releases it. This is telescopic, but I want to be able to show you what's going on with the gauges here. So down below, you can see how much depth you have. You can see how much fuel you have. There's your blind spot. You can see what kind of air you have in your airbag. So you can, if you're under air pressure, by the way, it's right there. There's like a little red line. It makes this like horrible beeping sound. No, you didn't break the coach. It just means that you need to let the air up. It'll do that automatically. Distance empty, 792 miles. Super handy that this is all here. And keep in mind, this is when Freightliner redesigned their dash. They just added some things that are really handy. So you can see that your engine brake is on high. Another thing that changed is that your engine brake is located right here. So this is off, low, medium, and high. It displays on the dash, but this is also where you would put the coach, for instance, into reverse. So when you put the coach into reverse, you hear that little beeping sound. You've got predictive guidelines back here. They are stagnant, they don't move. If you get into like the London air, they actually twist around and give you your trajectory. But this is showing you how much room you need between you and the guy behind you. The other thing to note though is that historically, we had a microphone back there. We don't have a microphone that is now recording from behind you. So if you are going to have someone giving you direction, you want to have your cell phone with you. So up here you can see steering effort. There's a shortcut button here on the dash that takes you right to that. And as you can see, that's going to be part of your Comfort Drive Assist. Comfort Drive Assist is really a difference maker in any Class A. It's something very unique to our product line, and what it's doing is it's using an electronic bias to go straight. This is not only handy going down the road in gale force winds when you're driving an unaerodynamic vehicle through the atmosphere, it is also very handy when you're backing up. It makes the wheels straight, so you aren't using your own judgment. It's just going, hey lady, this is straight, so you can back straight into that parking spot. And that in combination with your passive tag gives you a really easy entry into your parking spots. Now, when we go into the next one, you can see steering effort we just did, fuel economy, Mobileye, road watch. So road watch is going to be very cool. So headway warning distance, intelligent high beams. We have our Silver Star Ultra, much better illumination at night, but they also have automatic high beams that go up and down. So if you're going through those mountainous roads and someone comes around the turn that you're not expecting, your high beams will automatically dim for them. You can again turn that lane departure warning off. I'm going to set it, yeah, high sensitivity is good. That's a good place for it. You know, I'm actually going to make sure these are all set up because, yeah, like check that out. So why would you turn off your speed limit indicator? It tells you when you're going too fast. And I'll tell you, when you're hurtling through space and you're just chilling in your Dutch Star, it's got 450 horsepower. You can do that. So we're going to go ahead and also turn on our intelligent high beams. So as you can see, all this stuff is super easy to hang out with. And then road watch is your cruise control. And as you can see, you can choose your following distance. So if you're in like, you know, downtown Chicago on the freeway, you might choose this shorter following distance versus if you're like Cheeto just chilling up there in Wyoming on Highway 80. Depending on where you are, you can have a different level of following distance in front of you. It's actually predicted by stop signs. It's 3.3, 3.6, and then 3 seconds in terms of the space between you and the next car. But it uses an algorithm to keep you in a place where you can safely stop. Over here, you'll see the lane tracking package. So that's what those little predictive lines are on the outside. So just really cool technology. A lot of this stuff is probably like what you've seen on your car at home. And then some of your cars have this, some of them don't. This tells you not only your PSI, but it also tells you your temperature, and you can also use brake sync for your tow vehicle and put your TPMS sensors up here on the dash for whatever you're pulling behind you, if it's a Ford or a Jeep or whatever. And we can help you get that set up. I've done that for quite a few people now. I didn't know how to do it at first, but we're pretty good at being able to get those things put together for you now. And then diagnostics just lets you take a look if there's any kind of malfunctions. And then if you have it turned off, you have a really nice speedometer display right in the middle. I know you've got a speedometer, but this is telling you exactly how fast you're going in case you run into Johnny Law. This is a wireless charging port for your cell phone. As you can see, it's facing you, so you can have it up. Maybe you're running Google Maps simultaneously with your Nav and Go navigation system that comes standard on the Dutch Star. You've got fog lights, dome lights. This is your house and chassis battery boost. It's always useful, of course. If you've got one set of batteries that's lower than the other, you can use it to override that. You've got your window, which opens and closes. And then check out that little guy, isn't he cute? That's actually, there's a dude affiliated with that. I should remember what that is so I can tell you next time. He's a Winnebago dude. Left mirror, right mirror, heat, and center. So this is how you adjust your outside mirrors, but defrosting mirrors. And then over here is your HWH hydraulic leveling system. As you can see in the parking spot that we're in right now, this is the front of the coach, this is the back, so we are tilting a little bit towards the starboard side. That's all that means. And then if your jacks are deployed, it would turn red. And then when you're in, when you're already stored, so when you're in auto store mode, it'll be blue and it'll say that you're in travel mode with a green light. If it's red, it means that you're not safe to drive, and the coach will scream at you. She makes this like really loud beeping noise and like, don't drive, your jacks are down. You can still do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so Mary and Spencer, I always talk to Mary, she's great. Spencer's great. These are your Dutch Star specialists, so above and beyond Marlon and Bill and Tim and all the support you have here, you also have owner support at Newmar. You have the Freightliner custom chassis phone number, but more importantly, there is an app. And these guys have so much information on there. If you've got a light on your dash, you're not familiar with it, it's super easy to look it up. Down below here, we have all of our storage for your sunglasses, your wallet, your cell phone. You've got your visor and shade control for all of the windows up front. One thing to note about these visors is that they're in this cool track. So they're really nicely set up. But as you can see, you could drive with this down, and it actually has a place where it stops and it makes it so that you can't put it down anymore. So you can actually, if you've got like a really bright level of sun coming down, that's as low as you can go while you're driving with your visor down. So any lower than that, you'd have to turn it off to get it to go up. But it's super cool because if you've got, you know, a sun glare coming at you, and you don't have that visor to flip down, you can still use this. Now up above in this compartment over here on the left hand side, BMS battery power on and off, battery management system. Again, this is going to be integrated into your Victron controller. You're also going to have your solar control integrated into this, which is nice. They're using Merlin panels now. You can see where your Lithionics are. You can see your smart solar charger. So this is a really cool, I consider it an upgrade in the 2026 model for Newmar. Here you can see how many stations you're getting in just off of the local airwaves with your Razor antenna. You don't have to crank anything and turn around. This is where we're going to put our awnings up and down for the forward cabin, both on starboard and port side. This is our Girard awnings. They are out today. We have the most beautiful weather for today's video. I'm super excited about it. And then this is all of the driver shades. You could operate them here. And then this is where we operate our slides. Now, before we operate our slides, I want to go back here to this center control panel because this is a big deal for how Newmar works. And honestly, I'd like to spend a little more time on the inside of this coach. I have a lot of information and honestly quite a bit of knowledge on the outside and the under pairings of this coach. But this is the stuff that really has revolutionized, in my opinion, the RV industry. So first of all, your home screen, water pump, top off, block heater, all of it in one place. Where's my house battery? Where's my chassis battery? How much fresh water, gray water, and black water do I have? How's my power looking? My generator's running, my battery's on. I can go ahead and set my auto gen start here. If I've got any errors, I can go through and do diagnostic. My solar is being shown here, so I can see my accumulated kilowatt hours. I can see where my house and chassis are. Here I have, oh, I already covered that one. Here I have floor heat, so front, mid, and back floor heat, so I can set that here. I've got all of my fan controls for the stool room, the bathroom, and the kitchen in one place. Again, moving our shades off of the remote and into this control panel is super nice because honestly, at the end of the day, let's say you wake up and you're like, oh shoot, I have my skivvies on and I don't want to, oh, I just stopped them. I'm a little impatient, guys. And I don't want to come out there in my, my skivvies. I can put all the shades down with a touch of a button right here from the middle of the coach without having to go up and find my shade controller. So big deal to me. Again, the big deal with the 40-foot Dutch Star is that it has 3 air conditioners instead of 2. Those are 15,000 BTU air conditioners and heat pumps. And all of this is available to you through the Newmar app. So you can actually control and look at your, black tanks. You can see how much gray tank you have left. You can see all of this from your phone. You don't have to come to this main control panel, but this is so nice to be able to show you everything, especially with your lights, because you can go through here and just turn everything on the way you like it. Very, very easy control. And new for 2026, they have an all lights off switch at the door. Actually 2025 they did that, but that's nice. Central vac, again, just all of the luxuries that you would hope to have at home here in one coach. This is such a decadent, such a beautiful coach. Now I want to show you what this looks like with the slides in, and I want you to watch this hydraulic slide go up, and you'll see that there's a lot of room above the slide, and it's slowly eclipsing, right? So that slide is raising way up, and then after it's all the way up, it comes in. And again, this is part of that HWH hydraulic leveling system. So it's a really powerful system. Newmar's used them for well over 30 years at this point in time, so they're really integrated with each other. They work very well together. And this differentiation of our slides really sets us apart in the entire industry. And wherever we don't have these hydraulic slides, we have these cogwheel slides, which are also just bulletproof. Now I'm not going to put the bedroom slide in because I want to be able to show how we color match with our masterpiece finish, our high gloss buff and cut paint finish outside to the interior of the slides as well as to the exterior of the coach. But I do want to show you the walking space here, so we're just going to put these two in. And again, this is so exciting. I'm so blessed to be able to go to the dealer meetings every year to make these videos before the products come out, because we get an opportunity to sit down and listen to all of the new upgrades and all the enhancements that they're making at that dealer show. And I was so excited about the changes that I saw this year. This is such a great product to begin with. This 4081 has always had this great bathroom access. And again, I've got that refrigerator locked or unlocked, but I have access to my freezer. I have access to my pantry. I have access to my air fryer, my sink. I can do everything except for use my kick plate for my central vac while the slides are closed. So if I wanted to sit down, watch a movie, have dinner, and go to bed, I've got a bathroom on either side, so I'm not crawling over my spouse trying to get to the potty. You could really pull into place, be very comfortable for, overnight, have dinner, get up, have breakfast, and then hit the road. So super cool feature of this coach. Lots and lots of new safety features. Again, blind spot assist. Oh, and then up here you can see where that Starlink is mounted. So that's going to be your router. And keep in mind, this isn't the little Starlink. This is the big industrial Starlink, and it is suited for in-motion travel as well. So while you're driving down the road, if you need to check into your campsite and you forgot to call ahead of time and you don't have their number on your phone, you can just look it up on Google because you have Wi-Fi. You can send out all of your, Instagram pictures, email your kids. If you have to work on the road, you can have people not know that you're on vacation, which is awesome. This is a great new feature too. This is in the 25 and the 26. They put a little shelf here, but what a great place to keep some baseball caps, maybe an outdoor, an umbrella, whatever you might need, your binoculars. Over here we have a wireless charging dock, and then in the back there we have a USB Type C and Type A port and two 110s. And then this, my friend Joe Snyder asked me, what did you say in your video, Katie? And I said, Joe, that's the, honey, oh shit, we lost the Jeep camera. Yeah, that's what I said. It's the, oh shit, we lost the Jeep camera. Hopefully you never have that experience, but how nice is it to be able to look back and know that you didn't lose the Jeep? That's super cool. Okay, this is so that you keep the bugs out, and it doesn't go up so that you can hand beer out. It's actually so that you can see the road while you're going across country through this beautiful big window. I thought it was a beer pass through, because I mean, how clutch is that? I mean, here, give me a cerveza. Sure, dear. And then you just put it back down, right? I don't know. That's what I thought it was for. Anyhow, so another reason this coach is so exciting, this is an obsidian package. So not only does this have the sexiest paint job in the entire world, this is also the obsidian package. And then this is the Breda exterior graphic. This is not a custom paint job. Oh, I forgot one awning. But look at this, you guys. I actually get to have my entire awning package deployed. I don't have my lights on. I can go do that really quick. because I've got to turn this engine off anyway. But oh my gosh, talk about cool. Okay, let's turn this engine off. We'll turn off the generator. We got enough stuff going on around here. It's been kind of a wild day here at the dealership. But as you can see, I've got my, again, these are these little awnings that you can change the pitch. When we get around the other side, I've got one that's partially deployed. This is the fully deployed station for this. And yesterday when we were making our video, it was like gale force winds, and I was able to keep these deployed the entire time. Of course, I rarely have my Girard awnings out. They do have a bounce sensor, and they tend to retract unless there's no breeze, and today it's just maybe 2 miles an hour, just beautiful weather outside. Things that are really handy: not needing to bring your keys when you go kayaking, because you can lock your coach by pushing and holding one, and then use this number pad to get back into the coach without having your keys. It's a lifesaver. Having a doorbell is fantastic. Having a really nice awning cover, so if someone comes over and it's drizzly and they're waiting for you to answer the door, they can stay dry. Having, again, that integrated side camera right here. This coach does have the optional flagpole bracket right here, and then there's 6 of these. There's 3 on each side. These are your blind spot detectors. These are actually what we were using to see if there's someone next to you. So there's a separate package for the stainless steel dark painted trim, and then above that with the Onyx package. So this has both of those packages. That does come with the American X racing wheel, also known as the Amish racing wheel. And of course, these coaches are manufactured in Napanee, Indiana, and they're manufactured by the Amish population there. These guys are craftsmen. This is a very well built, very nice, super solid house. 100-gallon fuel capacity in the 40-foot, 150 if you go 43 feet. Nice docking lights, 3 cubic foot refrigerator. Now keep in mind, this slide tray does come out. If you had this full wall to slide deployed, you'd still have access to get to the beverages or to the popsicles or whatever you're keeping in here. And you can program either side of these to be a freezer or a refrigerator. Again, full access. In 2021, we started putting this little tray up above the refrigerator and the King Air, and now we've continued it throughout our entire product line. Just very nice to be able to put stuff down so you can load up that freezer. Again, I know I mentioned this inside, but you've got a 43-inch smart TV tied in again to that Starlink. You've got wireless charging ports for a USB Type A and Type C and 2 110 outlets outside. So you can use this as just a sound bar for surround sound. You can watch the Nuggets game. And then in here, we're gonna take a look at a few different things. So first of all, this is a 1,000-pound rated slide. I love slides that aren't power. They're so much faster. They come out to 60%, so you can load the center from either side of the coach. They go in really quick. They're, as you can see, like super soft. Look at how well that rolls. They're on such a nice bearing system. But also underneath here, you can see the star foundation, and this is really what sets Newmar apart. So they build a star foundation from the chassis up. It raises the coach up off of the chassis rail. It gives you much better basement storage inside of the coach underneath. It's also all open, so it's gonna have a better chance at not getting so cold down there in the winter. You do have a thermostatically controlled water bay as well, and there are heat pads available as an optional feature on almost every single coach, in fact on every single Class A that we make. So really cool feature there. But when they take the star foundation, as you can see the way that little channel angles in, it's taking this heavy slide and putting that weight distribution down towards the center of the coach. This is a half slide, and over here you've got some manual controls for your Girard awning package, and then you've also got an attachment for your road vac. So you can use that hose system that we saw in the previous bay, outside or inside. So if you've got paddle boards or anything like that that you want to inflate, there's a nice 12 volt in that first bay, and then you can clean them off before you roll them up to store them underneath your coach as well. I'm a big fan of the Blackfin. If you've never had one, let me know. Shoot me a text, I'll tell you all about them. I sell paddle boards and RVs. This overhead camera here is part of that 360 OptiView overhead camera system. And then this is what I was talking when I was talking about that masterpiece finish. So this is just so beautiful. The cut and buff that they do on this, the way that they bring this in to match, so that when your slide's deployed, it matches the exterior of your coach the whole way through. Just ultra decadent. This is a great new feature. This started off in 2025. We wanted to make it easier for you to diagnose or change out fuses that were not working in your coach. This just gives us a really nice window into the RV. And one of the things I really like about this is that these just twist off. They're actually kind of grippy on the edge. So if you don't have a screwdriver with you, you can still get this panel off and access it. And the reason I mention this is because whenever something's going wrong, having to go find a freaking screwdriver, it's like, oh my God, really? So someone mentioned that when we were at the show, and I was like, you know, that is a great point, because all you need is like less frustration if something's not working. This little tube down here is because everything, the Starlink, your fans, your air conditioners, everything is housed in a nice patio up top. It's all cloistered, keeping that wind away from it. So if you look at like another coach, like here's a Renegade Verona, you can see like the little dome satellite, you can see the air conditioner, all those things you can see up top. And you can imagine what kind of wind, force they're getting when you're going, cross country. All of that stuff in this Newmar is sheltered, and then it's running the water off of that patio through little tubes like this throughout the coach, keeping you from having drip lines and those hard water stains on the side of your RV. Another sensor here for that blind spot monitoring of your forward drive axle. Now keep in mind, this tire here is a 315. We've got 365s in the front, and again, they are independent front suspension. And I want to tell you here, I've got to look it up, so I want to make sure I get this right. This is a new suspension system for us. Meditor is no longer making our independent front suspension in 2026. And floor plans, features, Spartan, so it's only Spartan that's leaving Meditor behind, and they're going to the Rayco. So this is going to be the same front end suspension that Freightliner's been building the whole time. And one of the things that they have in the suspension system is called V-Ride. So Freightliner's V-Ride is really important. The reason it's so important is because it's taking the width of your support system and it's putting it to the outside of the coach instead of to the inside of the coach, giving you less tip going around those hills. And as you can see here, this wheel is actually slightly pivoted from when we backed it into this space. So you can see this drive axle is going straight, but this rear tire is slightly turned. This can get up to a 15-degree turn in the rear axle. So Spartan 17, Freightliner's 15. The big deal with all of this is that you've got a 60-degree wheel cut available in the front, and you can really get into either the Spartan or the Freightliner chassis will really get you into much tighter turning radiuses than you would normally have, because your turning radius is predicated from your wheelbase, which is from the middle of this wheel to the middle of that wheel in the front. It's much, much smaller than if it was coming from the rear wheel, like it does, for instance, in a Super C with a twin screw. And then the other thing that it does is it allows you to have that engine support further back, and you've also got less spread between the front and rear wheels, so you're less likely to high center going over more sharp peaks, if you will. And then you're also going to have less ass drag when you go through those dips, because you've got a wheel supporting you further back towards the end of the coach. This is one of the reasons that you consider a Class A over a Super C, is because of the fact that we have this passive tag where you can have the support, but it's not a twin screw. And if you have questions about that, I have a Super C. It's actually parked right over here in the campground. Just getting ready for our trip. I'd be happy to answer questions about my experiences with both. Here's your 15-gallon DEF tank. I almost said 15,000-pound DEF tank, which would have been a lot. We don't need that much DEF. Here are your 2 chassis batteries. And don't worry, we're going to get to those lithium-ion batteries by Onyx in just a few minutes. Another side sensor. And then back here you see the marriage of the Cummins to the Freightliner chassis. And over here on the right you see that little Oasis juice container. This is the cold fill. This is overflow, so it's not a big deal if it's not completely full. It's just an overflow. This is the hot fill. If it's below this line, you will not have hot water and you won't have hydronic heat. So it's very important to understand that. They do have nice LED lights here in the rear of the coach. And they also, again, we talked about brake sync, but you've got brake sync right here, all pre-wired. You've got your 7-pin connector, 15,000 pound towing capacity, 450 horsepower on the XCR chassis by Freightliner, and 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. So this is a beastie coach. This is one of the things I will tell you too is this ISL. If you notice that the difference in the horsepower is 450 versus 400, it's the same engine as my 360 horsepower Super C. So make sure you're going by those torque ratings. This ISL will have either usually 1,150 or 1,250 foot-pounds of torque, but getting that 450 instead of my 360 gives you much better passing power at high speeds on the freeway. So this coach is definitely a little faster than my Super C is. Really nice. Blacked out Dutch Star, blacked out Newmar. Again, just super sexy with this Onyx package. Now I know Onyx isn't for everybody, it's an optional feature, but it's something, you know, blackout cars are so popular these days. It's really nice to give people an opportunity to personalize the coach for themselves. Jody, I just lost like 3/4 of my hair in my glasses. It's okay. There we go, wardrobe malfunction, folks. At least it wasn't the Janet Jackson type. Again, dual depth fill, super handy just in case it's on one side and not the other. This is a great place to keep your gravity hose. So if you want to keep some extra gloves for your def as well, it's always kind of stinky to fill up that def. And then in here, we don't need necessarily the gravity hose because we've got the SantaCon system and some things to point out in this water bay. So power reel for your freshwater hose. There's a little pop down there if you wanted to use a gravity hose. You can also put your SantaCon hose through there. But this little guy here at the front attaches to a regular hose. So if you wanted to be able to pump out your gray water because you were really close to finishing up a load of laundry, but you're just gonna be a little light in space, you could pump your gray water out to a local drain. Don't use it to pump out your black water, that would be gross. But you could definitely get a little more room in your gray water tank if you wanted to. I also love the fact that there's a paper towel dispenser up here. And then they've moved this this whole house water filter to a clear filter housing instead of that dark blue housing, which is nice because if this thing starts to get kind of gross and brown and dirty, you know it's time to replace it even if it isn't at that annual time. So here you can see that we have a gray water tank rinse as well as a black water tank rinse. I love that feature. Hot and cold water. Also, you've got your shower is really nice, actually shower headed for cleaning things off. It's got quite a bit of like spray. It's not like a solid jet stream. And then there's these little drain holes in here. So if you want to clean this out, you could actually run some water in here and clean out your bay. So super nice sewer bay. And then in here we have our 50-foot power cord. And I wanted just to show, so this is nice. It's got a little grommet here so that you can go ahead and put it on here. And then your roll-up is right here on the door. So instead of having to, you know, when you're putting this in, reach down like I do, like a peasant, and push the button over here, you can just do it from right here and look like you're really cool. So that's just a nice feature. You've got a surge protector built in, as well as that inlet for your cable. So if you are at a park that has cable and you want free cable, you could do that. And here we have our Oasis. As you can see, all the diagnostics, if there's any kind of malfunction, they're right here in the front, very easy to troubleshoot. And again, this is a dual loop system, so you've got loop 1 and loop 2 here. And when I say dual loop hydronic heat, that 8-gallon reservoir is just boiling the hydronic fluid, and it's sending it out through a loop, and it's pushing air over the top of it. That's how it's using that hydronic heat as opposed to the heat pumps that are on your air conditioner units or the in-floor heating that you have here. When that fluid has to travel a shorter distance before coming back into the that boiler, it just allows it to stay hotter for longer, giving you better heat control for the front and rear of the coach. That's the benefit of it. And then in here, you can see there's the other half or the other side of that full tray that we had out. And again, huge tray storage in this. Of course, one of the benefits of a diesel pusher is that the engine's in the back, so there's no drivetrain, so you can actually have full pass through. And then again, Big upgrade for 2026, the new Victron energy management system with the Lithium Onyx batteries. Now this one does have enough room for an extra battery. If you wanted to add a third battery, you could get 960 amp hours in this. I would say that with your generator, with your ability to charge your batteries while you're driving with that alternator, I would wait before I add that third battery to make sure I really need it. But if you need it, it's a really easy install for us. Dual fill again, 100-gallon fuel tank. Again, really nice big 315s up here in the front. I think I said 365 earlier, I apologize. 315s up in the front, but again, independent front suspension. And then here we've got our release here to get into our generator. Oh, you can always hear it snap. And again, integrated blind spot monitors, cameras going down the side, clean idle, certified for California and the United States. So if you have any issues of getting into the DMV for registration, this coach is going to make it through for you. And then here's that quiet diesel generator, and it's just really nice. You can start it from out here, you can start it from inside the coach. There's a light up here so that you have access to see what's going on at night. And keep in mind, there is actually a circuit breaker that can trip on this coach. If you have a coach that's not charging and your generator's running, you may actually have a trip breaker on your generator. So weird things to talk about, but things that actually happen. This is a hot water line. It's designed so that you can rinse the bugs off your coach when you get to your campground. There's of course your great air horn. Oh, Jody, we forgot to do the air horn today. We always have to forget something, folks. If we don't forget something, you won't tune in next time for one of our videos. Silver Star Ultra headlights. Again, brighter headlights with automatic on and off and auto dim feature. There's an overhead camera for the front, your Mobileye unit here for watching the road in front of you. The radar is integrated here down below for your distance-based cruise control. And I mean, this is just really an awesome execution of a Dutch Star. So again, this is a 2026 Newmar Dutch Star 4081. Gotta be one of the best floor plans, most popular floor plans in the market. Of course, the Dutch Star is the #1 selling coach across the entire United States year after year because of the build quality, because of the people at Newmar, because it's a forward-facing RV manufacturer in an industry full of people who aren't trying to be accountable. And here at Transwest, you're gonna have the best purchase and delivery experience. Give me a call. My name's Katie O'Neill. You can find me at 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659. Let me know how I can get you out on the road and camping.